Hey everyone, Daniel here. Just wanted to take a second to talk to you about a couple of new things we have coming up in 2020. Starting in January, we're going to have 2 new shows coming to the Escaping Network. Now, I can hear you out there asking your stupid fucking little questions. What's the Escaping Network? Well, listen here, babies. Mama Bird's going to come and feed you that information. I'm Mama Bird in this situation, and you're my babies. It's a part of the news. We are launching our network, and with that, we have 2 new shows that I'm really excited to tell you about. The first one is a spin-off show by Kelsey and Roscoe called Yo, Where the Caption's At. It is going to be a wild ride that you are really not going to want to miss. I'm very excited to show you guys that and to see where it goes from there. Secondly, at the end of January, we're going to take to the stars with a new Space Pirate Radio show called Space Pirate Radio. It follows the crew members of the Dawn as they lie, cheat, and steal their way across the universe. It's going to be our first full cast show, and who knows how that's going to be. We're excited. The whole decade just started. We can mess up now and learn later. It's great. Lastly, we're going to change the layout of the Escaping Podcast to be a little more serial-based. And I don't mean Captain Crunch. I mean series-based and less one-shot episodic. That way we can tell you a little bit more long-format stories and not just, quick tales that we find funny. But with that, we will be taking a break in January this month to restructure and plan for what's coming up. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to have no episodes. In fact, what we're going to do is release our Patreon episodes, our Mandalorian / Verditto series, and that's going to be coming to you every Wednesday like we normally release. But just know, come February, it's going to be a different show with the same nerds that you've come to know and love. I think that's actually everything. So let's get you back to the show, and I love you. Yeah, I love you. Okay, bye.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, we're just gonna jump right into this shit.
Oh man, this is the way. This thing is going on more and more like an old western, and it's freaking awesome.
Yes, it is.
Everything is
It's so good. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode, another chapter in the Ballad of Verditto. This is a bonus Patreon episode. You usually say something about that.
I don't normally say any of that.
Yeah,
crap,
you do.
but
You literally do. Every time we do a Patreon episode, you're like, bonus episode!
Yo, boy! This is a Patreon episode going out to all my hoes on the West Coast!
Wow. That was Daddy Money, TJ.
I guess we're keeping that.
Yeah, no, that's going to be in here. This is a Patreon episode. Anything's allowed.
Hey, pay for
we
this shit.
We are all naked here at Escape Velocity Comics, living it loose while the snow is falling, ready to bring you some more content. Because we're at Escape Velocity Comics and they're so kind to let us record here, I do have to tell you, our thoughts, our ideas, our opinions expressed in this podcast do not reflect that of Escape Velocity, its staff, or what they do while they're naked. They just let us come in here and talk at you with our sweet little voices.
As long as we clean up afterwards.
They let us come in here, or they let us come in here?
Both, yeah. No, on the walls.
That's not right. That's like a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Listen.
Like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Yes. Ooh, Disney be sneaking that shit in there, too.
Yes, if you can help it at all, please don't ever bring a black light into
At the very least, wash your hands.
Yeah, and I gotta say, if it's starting to look like a Jackson Pollock, go see a doctor, because that's not the right
That's probably
color.
true, yeah.
Why is it blue?
Wow.
I am Daniel. As always, to my right, I've got
Kills for Show, a.k.a. Mando's #1 fan, yo.
I don't believe that. He's a long time ago. He wouldn't have heard of you.
It's okay.
He will. Sitting across from Kelsey, we have...
As TJ, Star Wars aficionado and ordained Jedi Knight, if I can get that in again.
We'll see.
That's what I said.
Yeah, last time he was Grand Wizard. It was crazy.
Dovetail into that all the
We
time.
actually have a guest on this one today. You know her. You love her. She hates us, but she will always show up to support us. What's your name over there, honey child?
Oh, I'm Tasheena.
How you doing, Tasheena?
Social media manager.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you have any message out there for
and
people?
avid Baby Yoda, or otherwise known as
Verditto.
Verditto. Fan.
Verditto.
It is.
Yeah. I literally can't contain my like happiness and joy every time he's on screen.
It's the best.
I mean, it's in a like world and in a society where people are being like divided, and I mean, it's like the one thing that people can agree on, that Verditto is just he's uniting us all.
I know.
He's
Just like Pokemon Go when it first came out. We're all on the same page for once.
Wrong. Okay, but no, Verditto is the truth. He's pure. There's nothing. Nobody has any arguments against him.
No.
He hasn't tried to hurt a single person, even though he should have force choked a motherfucker once or twice along the way.
Although, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, we saw him try to at one point, and that was amazing. We will talk about that when we get to the next episode.
Only people that try to spark beef with him are people that try to bring up these memes when they say, hold on, you can't. No, it's already been taken.
Yeah, no.
It's already gone.
I've gotten into a few online... not arguments, but debates.
How much time do you have in your hands?
Not a lot.
Okay.
When I'm using the restroom or when I'm,
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot.
It's a decent amount of time. You know what? Yeah, okay.
It's measurable.
People say you sleep half your life. I don't know if I do that, but I definitely am in the bathroom half my life.
You need a Clorox.
Sleeping.
You need to carry
Go
a
ahead
box
and brag,
of
why
Clorox
don't
wipes
you?
with you and clean that damn thing every once in a while.
No. What I've got down there is one of those Glade air fresheners.
That doesn't cut it.
Well, no, it doesn't. It slides in easily enough.
That's the bathroom version of like Axe body spray shower.
I as an adult, I've learned that doesn't work. You know what you need? The same Febreze they're using when they bring people in to smell the trash, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so good." I take 2 of those, I just open it and just dump it all on my body.
Word.
So I'm only here to talk about how cute Baby Yoda's. Oh, sorry, Verditto's.
Yeah, if you're gonna be on this episode,
Sorry.
It's okay. No.
That-
Let the woman contribute how much she wants to. You
It's
can't tell her what to
very
do.
like exotic, romantic sort of name for him.
Oh, okay, I thought you were gonna say he's kind of
Verditto's
exotic
name.
and romantic. He is 50s.
No,
He is, though.
So I just read that they modeled the original Yoda's eyes after Albert Einstein. Like,
Really?
yeah. So if you could like,
Huh, maybe.
So it's all relative.
yeah, exactly.
Encyclopedia
Who do they-
Greer.
Who do they
has,
who do
like,
they model his after? America's
little-
heartthrob?
Oh, thank you.
Kelsey Greer? AKA Encyclopedia Brown?
Yeah.
Damn.
Cute little teeth and big little ears.
Oh, him's teeth are the best.
Some little hands.
Yeah, oh.
Does he have teeth?
He does.
Oh, he totally has teeth.
I'll send you the 50
on.
pictures I
Nah,
have
but they're
saved
not,
in my
they're
phone.
not creepy little teeth like an ice cream man.
No, they're cute little
Okay.
teeth. Like he's gonna grow up to be a strong. He's gonna make this mama proud. He's gonna make this mama proud.
All right.
So let's go ahead and get
Proud
into
of your babies.
another chapter in the Ballad of Verditto. Last time we left you, a lot had happened. We had seen Cara Dune help the Mandalorian teach a town how to defend themselves. They took down an AT-AT. The internet lost their fucking minds because women knew how to shoot guns. Yeah, it was a whole thing where they're like, "Why can she handle a bastard?"
They don't
She's
be
a
watching
girl.
Walking Dead because
She
they
got-
always be shooting motherfuckers
She
on that
got
show.
boobies. She can't shoot.
She's Cara fucking Dune, and the mom, you know what? She has a past. Everyone has a past. But now,
Yes, they do.
after getting a classic cowboy trope, we are treated to some familiar places.
But to be clear, that's a Seven Samurais.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly the same plot.
Because
2 hours
samurais
long.
came first.
Which came first, the samurai or the katana?
Cowboy?
Or the Magnificent Seven for a cowboy aficionados.
Fair enough, yeah.
Was
Thing.
modeled after what you just said, Samurai.
And I will say the update on Magnificent Seven with Denzel
was it
Washington, solid
Chris
movie.
Pratt. Ooh, you can never go wrong with Denzel too.
But
But that's in the past.
now we're starting off, and this episode is called The Gunslinger. Another nod to this is a
shit, I can't
space
see that.
western. And where do they take us?
Take us right to where we thought we always were, Tatooine.
Tatooine, Crisis on Infinite Tatooines, or at least
right.
3.
And it's great. It's not even like there's not even kind of like a label that says we're going to Tatooine. You know, kind of block letters at the bottom. It's just like a communique between Mandalorian and the ground control. Like, this is Mos Eisley Station. You can land at landing pad 3-5.
And
Yeah,
could you
yeah, yeah.
explain what Tatooine represents or how it connects to the other movies or other Star Wars noobs like myself?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who jumped in on Mandalorian without really experiencing the whole universe of Star Wars, which is fine.
I mean, touching on that, they have done a phenomenal job in not really making any of the previous stuff that you know about Star Wars or that you think you know about Star Wars relevant. Like, you can literally jump into this series not knowing anything about Star Wars and still be completely and totally entertained by the whole thing.
Right.
There's nothing you need to know. Exactly
No.
right. That's right.
But they've included enough of the old stuff for diehards or longtime fans to be entertained by what's still included in this series.
Well, and I think that speaks to Jon Favreau's writing. Because even, and I'm always going to come back to it every time we do this, when he started the MCU with Iron Man, lots of people knew Iron Man. But he did it in such a way where it's like, hey, you don't need to know the history of this guy. Here's some cool stuff. And if you do know the history of this guy, check out that Easter egg over there. Check out this over here. But it's not in your face. It's not like forcing you to look at it and say, do you remember?
Exactly.
The 21st night of September?
Yeah, and so to that point, they're going to Tatooine, but it doesn't have to be Tatooine. It's just a desert planet.
It was just kind of like a nice nod for us. And when those little, because they were in the prequels, they weren't in the original trilogy, but the little droids that pop up,
droids, yeah.
oh my god, those maintenance droids, I saw them and I'm like, Chewie, we're home.
So that's the planet Anakin's from.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where
And
all,
Luke.
That's where all Star Wars started. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
And we even go to the same cantina.
That's right.
Yes.
But it's different this time.
It is different this
So
time.
they show some progression in locations.
Absolutely.
But so it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
And they fired that band.
Yeah, they fired the
After they played the same song for 2 years, they're like, you gotta fucking leave.
Like, yo guys are a broken record. No,
That
that's the name of the band.
And the bartender's
It's
gone.
like if someone leaves on a 10-hour loop of Chumbawamba's tub thumping. After a certain point, you're like, how long have I been here? You know, you don't really know.
Well, like in
How many times can I get knocked down and get up again?
in How I Met Your Mother,
No.
The Proclaimers,
Fieros,
500 miles.
Right. Like, you get tired of it, but it comes back
Oh,
around.
it comes back
The
around.
fondness comes
Yeah,
back
every
around.
time the manager of that cantina was like, I'm throwing him out, he's like, oh.
It's a good song. The patrons love it. And speaking of patrons, we love all you guys that subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you're listening to this, you are a Patreon subscriber. If you like what we're doing here and you are excited for some more mini-series we're doing, please let your friends know. If you think we deserve a little bit of cash for what we do, it really does make a difference. And thanks for subscribing.
What's interesting about that cantina, though, is that it's being serviced now by a droid, right?
Yes.
And that was one of the first things.
No
C-3PO
droids!
Tried to come in, no droids. We don't serve those kind here. And they go wait outside.
Yeah.
Well, now it's being bartendered by a droid.
No, and it's great because I don't know if it's the same booth that we first see Han and Chewie in.
It's close.
But there's another bounty hunter there, very reminiscent of some young gun trying to make a name for himself. And who should he see?
He's got the Mando.
The Mando!
That's right.
Now, what were your guys' first thoughts of this guy when you first see someone who's offering, some jobs, even though the cantina patron goes, no.
You know, at this point with the Mandalorian series in general, I feel like you just can't fucking trust anybody.
No one
can.
You cannot trust anybody. And Mando obviously doesn't trust anybody, not fully. I mean, you kind of get that feeling that, like, he'll give them, like, half a chance.
Exactly.
And then, if they blow that fucking
Oh, then they're
chance,
done.
Yeah.
Because, like, in his nature as a Mandalorian, like, they're secretive and they don't expose themselves. They don't take out their helmet because this is the way. We can't trust people. We got to do our own thing. And it's a bounty hunter gig. Everybody's out to get this score. So why put faith in anybody besides yourself?
They're all just going for the payday.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The bottom line, if it's not Mandalorian or Baby Yoda, you don't trust him.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, okay.
Point
Yeah,
blank, period.
pretty much.
A couple exceptions.
Name one.
Young Ron Perlman
Yeah,
and Cara Dune.
took 2 episodes to
Okay.
trust that cat,
But
and then Cara Dune a whole
No,
episode.
I trusted young Ron Perlman as soon as he's like,
Gina Carano?
come, yeah, he's like, come and try and ride this thing. You can do better than this. Come on.
Okay.
But at no point did either of those characters really truly like. I mean, like Baby Yoda is the entire.
Verditto.
Sorry, Verditto is the he's the emotional anchor of this episode. Like anytime he pops up on screen, we're like. Oh,
When
no.
well, in the beginning, when that lady and the little service droid saw him, I'm like, she better not be bad. And then she's
Right.
just a
Yes.
caretaker.
Right.
She's just like,
Well, okay.
why would you leave it with no windows down and not even a bowl of water?
Okay. And I'm gonna give my little teeny tiny plug to Amy Sedaris
Go.
for being the voice of Princess Carolyn on BoJack Horseman.
Oh, yes.
BoJack
Oh,
Horseman,
yes.
the final
Amazing.
season.
I mean, it was enough to distract me entirely from that episode where I'm like, where do I know this
Oh,
voice from?
shit.
I know this voice. Where do I know this voice
I
from?
knew it from everything else. Then it
Oh.
clicked when you said, "Oh God."
Yes, it's Princess Carolyn.
Awesome.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, it is
You don't
Princess
fuck with
Carolyn. If
BoJack.
you're not watching BoJack Horseman, you need to be watching BoJack.
I've been. It's been on my list, and I need to get it going.
Need to
CJ
fucking
tells me
watch
about it all the time,
And it's another black guy once again telling
Yes.
you need to fuck with that show.
Please
Okay.
do yourself a favor. Give BoJack Horseman a chance.
Okay, you know what? Instead of the rewatches I have been doing, I'll do this.
And instead of watching Titans, Doom Patrol, and Swamp Thing, you've been rewatching a lot.
No, but because recently it's been Watchmen.
All right,
And I
girl.
will say Watchmen has been one of the best shows. But we're not here to talk about Watchmen
All right, sis.
or BoJack.
Yeah,
we are
I
here
don't
to
want
talk about.
to. Yeah,
Mandalorian.
I don't want to get distracted. I just want to say that Amy Sedaris is my girl.
Shout out to the realist.
Yeah.
But this show has been doing a fairly good job. Just like all the other Star Wars films, if there's some kind of a person that can be put under a mask or disguised slightly and make a cameo,
Right.
they're there. Which
Because
is
they
pretty
got
great.
that Disney check.
I mean, like
which
even
we
like-
saw in the most recent episode.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we'll get to that here shortly. But things like in The Force Awakens, one of the damn
Daniel
stormtroopers there
Craig!
was Daniel Craig for crying out loud. Yeah, the guy behind the giving out rations to Rey for based on what kind of parts she brings in.
Simon
is
fucking Pegg!
right? And so you don't know who they are until you find out later. But
Exactly.
in this case, we have a couple of people. They're not exactly A-list actors or
Sure.
anything like that. But you see them and you go, hey.
Even
there you go.
BB-8 was
Yeah.
Bill Hader.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I not know this?
I'm saying
'Cause he
BB-8
just-
doing the whistles and like all that.
It's his accent.
It's a little too thick. So Mando teams up with this young bounty hunter who's like, please, I'm trying to make a name for myself. I'm trying to get into this guild.
I never trusted him
No.
from the beginning.
You know why I didn't trust him?
Why?
He's too pretty.
Okay.
He's too pretty.
That's why
and
people don't
he's,
trust me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It took a while for us to get you on the show, but
True.
Kelsey was already the first pretty person I trusted, and I was like, okay, that's almost too much.
I'm a cute bitch.
And then it was you, and then I was like, this is almost too much. Then Tasheena comes on the show, and I'm like, oh no,
Can't compete with that.
can't trust anyone.
Maybe
Too
we're
many
just gonna
pretty
have to trust
people.
him.
Too many pretty people, but I balance it out, and that's fine.
beautiful
This
people, the
bounty
beautiful
hunter
people.
was too pretty. He was too young and too eager to make a name for
you-
himself that he was willing to do whatever it took.
Hey, you know whose son that is, right? Old buddy from Ant-Man, that's the new stepdaddy. That's his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense why he's so pretty.
My goodness. But we already know right away that he said here's the puck here and here's the person I'm hunting down. No big deal. Some chick out in the desert. No big deal. And Mandalorian goes, no. She's like the baddest assassin we've ever known, and you're gonna get all
Was
fucked up.
she, though?
See you later.
That's
Was
what they
she?
tell us.
Well, Mando did sneak up on her. You got to give him a surprise attack round for that with any D&D character. You get a surprise attack round, you could
He got
always get
lucky.
advantage.
Plus, old buddy was the distraction too, so he played
Exactly.
off that element. And that's once again another woman coming on being one of the strongest and one of the most fierce
Okay.
competitors that he ran
But,
across.
I mean,
Kudos.
am I alone in feeling like Ming-Na Wen was a little her spot on this particular episode was a little lackluster?
You are not alone.
no, it was.
I don't think so.
I mean, she could have had a really. I mean, they made her seem like she was like gonna be a total badass, but
Maybe some more
I totally
hand-to-hand
get it.
combat.
Right, exactly. I totally understand that Mondo is supposed to be, the guy that we're rooting for, the one that we
Exactly.
want to win.
Yeah. Even though he gets his ass handed to him 7 days a week,
Near
twice on
constantly,
Sundays.
but it's the battles.
Yes.
But this is like this was an assassin that even Mondo was like, no thanks at first,
Yeah.
right? Until he was like, fuck, I need this.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Well, and you also got to imagine in his mind, again, with him being a foundling, him being someone who had to pull himself up by his bootstraps, he sees this young kid, and even though he doesn't trust anyone fully, there's part of him that goes, if I had had this opportunity, like someone to help me when I was younger, maybe I'll help this guy out. I think there's still a soft spot in his heart that he isn't fully open to showing, but maybe he saw a little bit of himself in this young guy trying to get in the guild.
Exactly.
They are absolutely trying to preserve a lot of Mondo's humanity.
Yeah.
Even though we never see his face, even though he might as well be a fucking robot for all we know.
And we know
Maybe
what he
that's why
looks
I
like in
don't
real
trust
life,
he's
Roy.
not.
but yeah.
We know he's not, but because we never see his face, because he's very like stuck in his ways and his
Reserved.
No,
beliefs.
exactly.
You know, he might as well be. I mean, they have done a really great job in writing him in such a way that he remains unrelatable, but
just enough.
human.
Just enough human to keep you
Human.
being like, I get it, and I know that hurt. Even though,
I guess I didn't pick any of that up in that bar scene.
Really?
I saw him. He goes, "Yeah, you're kind of a fool. See you later." And he goes,
Sure.
"No, you can have all the cash." He goes, "Shit, I need cash. I need to fix my damn
Fair
shit."
enough.
Word.
And so, all right, well, then give me the coordinates. He's going to leave that cat in the dust. Like that, and then he goes, smashes the fob there, and he goes, "No, I got the coordinates in my head, and that's it. Now we're partners."
Yeah,
No.
and that's the thing too. Like going on about what you brought up about her kind of being downplayed and her bad assery. I don't think he would have did it if he didn't have old buddy with him, because he purposely used him as a decoy. He was not about to go and fuck with her head on. So he's like, "No, I'm gonna send him out, not tell him the whole plan. So as soon as they distracted, I'm gonna come behind you." He did not want to go toe to toe with her up front, because we already seen him get his ass whooped before by Gina
Yes,
Carano.
yes.
So he's like, "Nah, let me play smart, because I'm a fierce warrior. But the thing about being a warrior, all battles are won in the mind first.
Yes.
So let me strategize this shit first."
So there's a little thing that I love in any movie or show when anyone does it. There's the experienced person, and then they've got the rookie with them, and they always say, "Hey, Bill, poke your head up and see where those shots are coming from."
Yeah,
Like, yeah, of course.
get ready to duck.
That is one of my favorite fucking things, because that rookie could look up and be like, dead, and it's fan-fucking-tastic. One of the bits that I will always love of that episode is he doesn't treat the Tusken Raiders like monsters.
Yeah.
Instead, he shows up and he communicates with them. These are living beings, and they're not monsters to him. They're just like, "Oh yeah, we gotta get passage. Let's do this. Okay, see ya." It's so civil, and it's more civil than I've ever seen anyone interact with these aliens.
I thought for damn sure, and that bounty hunter had his macro binoculars up there, and he's looking out, and he goes, "Oh yeah, lots of dunes. See, look at the wet back there, or the dew back there wandering around." That's the lizard, by the way.
Yep.
Dewback.
Yep.
Anyway,
No,
Well, I'm pretty
thought
sure
you
you just said
wet
wetback.
I know.
I ain't seen no water in that desert. But
There were no Gungans there.
Yeah.
That's a callback, folks.
So looking through the
Me said
macro
so.
binoculars, though, I thought for sure we were going to get another callback to Episode 4 with Luke Skywalker. There with the sand people jumping up in front of it, and instead, why don't you ask them yourself? And they're standing right next to him.
That was great, because they're just kind of like,
Craziness.
I imagine in their language, they're just like, "The fuck are these guys doing? I don't know. Look at them. Hello. And all they hear is,
We're hearing Charlie Brown's teacher.
and it's like, are these guys spying on us? Well done, peeping toms. I hate
I
you.
might just be. I might want to take a gander at us.
Oh, sir,
Oh, you lost.
shake your stick at him.
You've got his attention now.
Oh,
Trying to have a
dang.
civil conversation with him. It's like, what's this fool doing with his hand? I don't know. It looks like some sign language shit. I don't know.
Like Maverick. You ever see Maverick?
Ask for the
With Mel
binoculars.
Gibson?
Yeah, with Mel Gibson.
Word.
When he's got his Native American friend.
Nah.
They totally know each other. It's like, "Hey, dude, I'll get you these macro binoculars here real quick if you want them." Yeah, you like them? You like this guy? Groove here? Yeah? All right, good.
So good. So they give him the binoculars. They got to keep going on. Classic. Look up, see where the shots are coming from. And this lady's shooting to kill. She's not shooting to be like, "Hey, stay away." She's like, "Where the fuck are you? You're dead."
I was totally psyched to see, what's her name?
Ming
Okay.
Na Wen.
Agent May from
Agent
Agents of
May.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
The cavalry.
A.K.A. Mulan, voice of an animated
Mulan.
movie, and Chun-Li, and animated. From the live-action Street Fighter movie, starring
right,
John
that's
Claude
right.
Van Damme, and Kylie Minogue is also in there as well.
So
Raul
how do you
Julia,
actually
R.I.P.
cite a quote from Encyclopedia Greer?
Well, first you're gonna need at least 3 different resources that have all
so.
referred back to him. It's
need
got to
a-
be at the end of the paper you're doing.
It's a footnote.
And
Oh my God! Stop.
finally, you need a written permission from Encyclopedia Brown and to pay your dues.
And you need a word.
Word.
You ever see those commercials with Bing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kelsey's like, "Got it."
Got it.
So they take her by surprise using the new guy as bait. Mando takes her down.
Okay, that's not entirely true, though. I mean, they go on their speeder bikes, which are pretty cool, by the way. Desert speeder bikes are hauling ass across
They
the desert.
definitely-
Speeder bikes in
Love
any
them.
place.
Exactly.
I'm
You can see
about.
where they spent all that budget on them
Yeah.
scenes, because they shot they shoot all that shit on a green screen too. I just found out about that shit too. None of that shit's really
Also,
on location.
Okay, I was wondering, like, if they shoot that kind of stuff, like, out here at the sand dunes or just certain locations, because that'd be easy to do.
Disney,
Yeah, I don't know.
baby.
Yeah, it's got to be CGI.
It's all CG. That's why they put all that money into that shit.
But the way they trick the sniper there is by shooting flares at nighttime.
That's
as
right.
They go. But if you look, it's the bounty hunter, the nameless bounty. He's probably got a name. Anyway,
We'll call him Chad Carino.
Chad Carino. Carino?
Chad Montuba.
Chad Montuba there. Everybody's shooting flares, right? Boom, up in there, and they burst up in the sky, and they blind the sniper. Except for Chad, what's his name?
Montuba.
Montuba, who shoots, boom, fires shit into the ground.
Which shows just how inexperienced this chump
So-
is.
And so that's
Flares
why
go up.
and that's why Mando's got to jump in, shoot again high,
Yeah.
and that gives Chad a chance to get around.
Here's a question: what's Yoda's last name?
It's
Whatever it is.
It's
Verditto, last name, my son.
Shit. They might not even have last name.
Okay.
Verditto, my son.
Verditto, my son. Verditto Iglesias, my son. And that's when he knows he's in trouble.
It's a trick question.
Is it like where it's like
Yoda doesn't have a
It's like
last
Madonna doesn't have
Yo-
one. The Pope doesn't use his.
Yoda doesn't have a last name because he's pretentious. Even if you're from a group of people, like let's say there's what is it? Certain people from Mexico or Chile or Colombia where they don't have middle names.
They just
And
have
it's
5 names.
or 5 names, or sometimes it's just the first and last. If you're adopted into another family where they have all those names, guess what you're getting?
All those names.
All those names.
I learned that in Spanish.
Trick
1.
question answered.
And so if you get adopted into
Okay, I thought I was supposed to be the designated drunk one here because somebody's about to get the gold medal.
by that logic, if you get abandoned on a planet and have to have a bounty hunter rescue, you don't have any last name.
Sure.
No, because you ain't got a life. They probably kill your ass.
Yep.
All right, I think his last name's a feeling.
Word.
If it's a droid, your name is Verdito. You know, and that's
Pretty tough.
Yeah, it's
All that clicking too. That's
try
good.
spelling that.
Yeah.
You're spending the whole test just like, okay, whir, whistle, whistle. No, it's whistle, whir, whistle, whistle.
So we spent a lot of time this episode going up and trying to get to the sniper or the assassin, right?
Yeah,
And
it's the whole goal.
and then Chad goes up there. And
Montuba.
Chad Montuba does his best, and it's not very good to take her on. He's got a couple of moves. Not very good. He gets taken down by the sniper, and then Mando says, "That's quite enough."
Yeah.
And he's got her. But then I think the real crux of the episode
Here it
happens,
comes.
right?
Here it comes. Hit us with it.
All right. So now, the point is we eventually have to get this mark, the bounty, back to wherever bounties go, and we got to get it. Well, it turns out in the process, one of the speeders got shot. So now we need another ride. So who do we call?
We could drag you behind. That's what he says
Yeah,
to
that
her.
would be pretty high. That would be amazing. No. But instead we got the dewback.
I didn't know the name of those
Yeah.
particular creatures at first, so I was like, okay.
and-
Well, I really love the weird piranha, iguana,
Lizard. Yeah, that's right.
lizard.
Oh, them things.
Well, and then you've also got the whatever they're called, the big are they banthas?
Banthas.
Yeah, those are my favorite. I want to see some of those.
Yeah, you had to actually have the toy back in 1978.
I did, and I've played Lego Star Wars. Okay, friends.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he's Chad Montuba is left alone with Agent May,
Right.
and
And this is the tragedy that Tasheena was talking about here, is that the rest of her function for the entire series and universe is to let this bounty hunter know that Mando is valuable because he done jacked with the
The
he
guild.
broke
guild.
the code and went against the guild.
It's like Gambit.
well, just like Gambit, anytime he betrays the guild in favor of the X-Men or whatever it is, Rogue, some other street urchin who needed his help, the guild does not take kindly to that, and they spread the word real fast, faster than seemingly humanly possible.
Yeah, but it's not money that drives this guy.
No.
It's
The way.
it's a
No,
glory.
no.
It's legend.
It's the
legacy.
fact that when he gets into the guild, he wants it to be something that is spoken of years later. Who he is in the guild, he wants to be something that is at that high level.
His
and
reputation.
what does she tell him?
Well, she tells him that the Beskar armor that he's wearing alone would be more than the bounty, but he goes, he doesn't care.
Chad says, money? My dad could buy this planet.
And don't forget, man, I'm in charge. I told the Mandalorian to come get you. Yeah, you're in charge, dude. But But anyway, it's if you bring him down, and by the way, the only way we know it's him is because he's got a package on his ship. But if you bring him down, glory be to you. I'll praise your name.
Everyone will know who you are.
You get whatever you want.
That's
You
right.
don't want me. You want the Mandalorian.
And so what does he do, Tasheena?
Yeah, what does he do, Tasheena? To this character who could have gone places in this universe, what does he do? What does he do to her, Tasheena?
He just straight up murders her and ends her entire story and plot. I mean, she legitimately could have been a really cool character. I mean, they gave us enough information to make it like, whoa. I mean, she's badass enough that even Mondo was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then, she ends up dying at the hands of some goob.
Which, it's one of those things where the internet has lost its mind over Cara Dune being able to be adequate and the single mom on that planet being able to shoot a gun. And here we have someone where the backstory is there, that she's been trained, she's one of the high-ranking people in the guild, and she's just gone.
Yeah, I kind of thought that she was going to bounce back, like it was just a flesh wound, or she had, I don't know, a deck of cards that blocked the blasters.
So,
are we going to skip to that?
No, we should just cover real quick. Guy comes back. He's got, he's where the ship was being repaired.
He's
got Verditto in his hands. He has the lady, or Princess Kitty, and
Princess Carolyn.
Princess Peach, and he's got her, and
looking very different than the video game.
I know. Hey.
Yeah.
Time kills all.
Yeah.
So he's got him. He's holding him hostage, and of course, Mando's just like, "Boom, you're dead." Takes the baby,
pretty much.
Gets on the ship, leaves. But we get something that we haven't gotten in other episodes. Instead of it being like, "Here we go, done with that episode," we get a little bit of a cliffhanger. We get some shadowy motherfucker walking up to Agent May's body. And that's all we see.
Yeah, the guy in boots.
True. I forgot about that.
I'm assuming it's Apollo Creed.
Oh my God, Carl Weathers is
Because he's
back.
still alive and like, yo, you mad at Mando? I'm going to help you up, girl. You in space. I'm going to heal you. Because I don't think she's dead. I think they're going to all come back towards the end episode.
You know
for
what?
like,
I hadn't thought about
yeah.
that.
I don't think it's Carl Weathers.
Well, that's just my first guess. It's probably not, but that's just my first guess off the top.
It's another bounty hunter.
That we haven't seen yet.
Right.
That we're going to get revealed. Like, oh, shit, it's
They would have been tracking with the fog.
William Dafoe.
What if instead they throw us a curveball?
Yeah, like...
Steve Buscemi.
Exactly. That was literally that was the other one in my head too. It's gonna be somebody just like,
or Danny DeVito for that matter. Okay.
What are you guys doing?
I saved you. Let's get this fuck.
Like
Can I offer you an egg in these trying times?
We've veered from Danny DeVito to Joe Pesci.
Oh,
You think I'm a joke?
I'm like a clown to you? How am I funny? Funny like a clown? I'm gonna kill this fucking Kevin McAllister kid.
Okay, so
What if they throw us a curveball and it's Big Boy? Or one of the other Mandalorians who are tracking
It's
him?
entirely possible.
I don't know.
Part of the guild, sure. I mean, even though all
The Mandalorians,
But
not the
even though-
guild.
No, that's fair. Yeah, so part of the Mandalorians, but they wouldn't be.
Yeah, because they just
wouldn't
teamed up to
access.
save him. So why would they?
What if they're
Bring him
teaming
back
up because now they've heard the kind of troubles he's in, and they figure,
It's been
fuck
what
it. Well, instead of being hiding, let's take care of
Let's
this.
not forget about the client.
Werner Herzog,
Yeah,
who
so-
does need to die.
Right. So there's all kinds of folks that are now after him, and they're all sort of related through Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to have to be a bounty hunter of some kind.
So the episode ends, and we have to wait a week. And you know what? What a week it was. We laughed, we loved, we learned, we grew. And we get another episode, and this one, before I hit play, seeing a Twi'lek looking backwards, I'm like, okay, here we go. Aliens, cool shenanigans,
Right.
and it's called The Prisoner. So of course you're thinking, Prison Break, here we go.
Well,
Of course.
yeah, and I'm sure.
And
this is-
and it's like a reference to the whole "let's get the band back together one last time" theme in the episode as well.
it's pretty cool.
it is.
But you
I-
gotta go in armed with the idea. Don't trust anybody.
Don't
It's
trust
true.
anybody.
Well,
As always.
So, I mean, for me personally, I went into that episode being like, oh God.
Okay.
What is going to happen this time? And then, like, it ended up being so much worse than what I imagined it was going to be.
Well,
where
there
they,
was
like,
one
tried to,
thing
like,
worse.
where they, like, tried to keep him or imprison him
Right. Well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves on that one.
It is.
Yeah.
We are. But the I guess the level at which they tried to increase our paranoia around everybody that Mondo wants to try and use to his advantage is fuck. He really cannot trust anybody.
Well, there was one part that. Because anytime this happens in any movie, show, or book, and someone starts bringing up specific things about the past, I'm like, oh shit, he's not the same Mandalorian that this guy knew. Exactly. Oh, he's going to catch him in slipping up or something. But instead, this guy was not doing that. He was using it to build false trust. Yeah. But
this is also one of the episodes, going back to what Tasheena was saying earlier about the previous episode, or about Verditto in general, is that anytime that we're without Verditto, I think it kind of turns into something of a dirty old Western movie.
Yes.
Now, it's all great. Don't get me wrong. But at some point, after a couple of minutes of I'm bigger than you and I'm badder and I've got history in my gun and shoot straighter
you're
or
tiny.
bigger, whatever. So after a little bit, you're like, wait. What the hell happened to Verditto?
Low-key,
I lost him. Where'd he go? Did I see him get stuffed in the closet again? No, I saw that in the last episode, in the sniper episode, the gunslinger. Right? You're in the closet. Okay, track it. But this one, it's where the hell was he? And it turned out to be rather important later on.
Well, before we get into where he was or where he wasn't, we do need to point out the star-studded cast in this episode.
Yes.
Clancy Brown.
I was gonna say you got Mr. Krabs, you've got Nymphadora Tonks, you got Bill Burr.
Yes,
wait,
Bill
wait.
Burr.
You
Oh
got
my God,
Moss,
Bill Burr.
Moss from the IT crowd.
Wait.
Whoever Fat Boy was, I can't remember where he's from.
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. Thank you.
Clancy Brown is Mr. Krabs?
Yes.
You didn't know that?
First off, I didn't know that motherfucker was Clancy Brown until I started watching video.
The big strong.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He's the Kurgan in Highlander.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
I love that guy.
Oh my God, it was perfect, and I was like,
I love
Okay,
the fact that I love Highlander. I'm I know who Clancy Brown is, but I wasn't watching through the makeup, just like with old Purple Girl. I was like, I had an IMDb. I'm like, oh, she the bitch from Game of Thrones that was helping Brandon and the other one get through the woods that got killed.
Hodor, you got quite a big member, ain't you?
Oh, she the one that smashed her?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, but no, that was amazing acting because I didn't see the actors. I saw the performance, and I was entertained by all that shit. And Bill Burr had all the best lines, and he was Bill Burr enough not to take me out of the fact that he was Bill Burr.
Speaking of Bill Burr lines, let's get into one that really,
all right, go ahead.
really did the thing for me, where they say, "What do you look like under there?" "Ah, I bet you're a Gungan. Is that it? You're a Gungan? Maybe you, sir, don't want to take off your helmet."
That
and
shit
I'm
had
like,
me in
what
tears.
That's a not so veiled insult at the whole Jar Jar Binks.
Exactly, and me being a casual Star Wars fan, I was like, I get that reference, and I enjoyed it.
You're Steve Rogers, the first Avengers.
There's another reference just earlier than that where it starts talking about who exactly Bill Burr is. And he's some kind of fallen Imperial trooper or some kind. And
He's
you're
an
a stormtrooper.
Imperial sharpshooter.
That's right. He goes, "Oh, not quite the shot, are you?"
No, he goes stormtrooper. And he goes, "Not a stormtrooper."
I can fucking shoot, man.
Making reference to the idea that stormtroopers can't hit.
And
anything.
I love that. Once again, casual Star Wars fan, I got that. I was like, ha, that shit's funny as fuck.
So they're at this place where no questions are asked. Mando is let in because of his ship. Because they needed the ship. And his friend says, "Oh, you're always welcome here." And then, fucking 5 minutes later goes, "The only reason I let you in here was because of your ship, right?" And he's like, "What the fuck, dude? You just said we were friends." And he goes, "Ha ha 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 ha. We ain't no fucking friends." And Mando's like, this is really quite the turn of character. I don't understand what's happening.
So, speaking of not understanding what's happening, it's all we really see is the opening scene is the ship landing at this station.
Yeah. That's it.
And we don't really understand why he's there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you put your ship and Verditto in danger like this? There's got to be some kind of need. And it's implied that later on he needs the money.
But he's got a history with a member of his crew.
Right,
Exactly.
right. So
the Twi'lek
members.
Xi'an. The Twi'lek Xi'an, he and her used to be on a crew together. There's some history there. She says that, even though he doesn't say he likes killing, even though he, protests all the time, he enjoyed what they used to do together. He liked it. He got off on it. And the other members are like, oh yeah, you really that badass? And when the time comes, they don't go to his aid. He takes out those droids all by him fucking self.
Yeah, Bill Burr's like, no. Let's let this motherfucker do this shit. And he did that shit.
It looked like a lot like the Deadshot scene there in Suicide Squad.
Right.
Right.
And,
but not without less bullets.
It's a little bit amazing that people who have a history with Mondo manage to keep underestimating his ability to protect himself.
Well,
regardless of what that means, whether or not it means breaking out of a prison cell, or I guess like acquiring all the parts and pieces of his ship that were stolen from the Jawas, or stolen by the Jawas rather.
Scavenged by the Jawas, they don't steal.
Whatever. I mean, there seems to be an underlying theme where people keep sort of underestimating Mondo and his ability and his determination to get wherever the fuck he's wanting to go.
Well, because I would just chalk that up to legend versus reality. Because the only people that really doubted him were Bill Burr's character and Clancy Brown's character. Because they was like, oh, Mandalorian, what makes you so cool? Because she already knew what he could do. Old buddy that brought him on already knew what he could do. So they kind of like, yo, let me see what he could do. And he showed them, like, we hear all these things about the Mandalorians. Now put your money where your mouth is. And they showed them.
It's true of... I'm sorry, I didn't catch the guy's name. The one that was from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
We will call him ZZ Top.
Sure, let's call him ZZ Top.
How about ZZ Flop?
ZZ Flop.
He legitimately underestimated Mondo too, in terms of I am legitimately surprised that you've returned. Where are the others? Okay, well, fuck it. I guess it doesn't matter.
Maybe he just thought they was gonna turn on him anyway, like they tried to
kill Mondo anyways.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's a couple things with that. I think one is like seeing Danny Trejo in movies and then meeting him, and he's shorter than you think, but he can still kick your ass. It throws you off. But also another character that goes with that, also owned by Disney in the comics, is Hawkeye. Hawkeye is constantly being underestimated. He plays the part of an idiot. Not saying Mando's doing that, but he plays the part of an idiot so people underestimate him, and he can always hold his own because he has to hold his own against gods every day. Now,
he is an idiot because that's why he ain't got his own movie.
But with Mando, well, he's got his own show coming up, so show a little respect. With Mando, I think the fact that they knew him at a younger age while he was still a foundling maybe, or when he was just getting started, not where he is now, because every time he gets hit, he gets back up and learns from it. He gets some new gear, and he's better equipped. They know a younger, more rash Mandalorian, rather than the guy we've seen who, instead of killing the young Tridactyl, Verditto, took him with him and is now sacrificing everything or risking everything to protect him.
He doesn't have much to lose beyond
his life
Verditto.
And reputation and his wife.
Yeah. Oh, well, even his reputation at
this
point
also,
is kind of like... He already put that on the line with the rest of the Mandalorians.
That were being killed. Like,
you're overlooking something else he has to lose. Let's say he gets killed. What's to stop any of these fuckers from putting on his helmet and finding the other Mandalorians?
I guess first they gotta find them.
What's to stop him from taking his helmet off and completely disappearing in general?
He's got some bad acne, Tasheena. You don't want to show that in space.
Aliens, though. But also, I like to. It shows the progression of his tactics. Because he's like, yo, when you find Clancy Brown in the office, he getting fucked up, like, boom, I'm gonna close the door on your ass. And that motherfucker say, nope, I'm Hercules, motherfucker.
Before we get to that scene,
again and close them, I'm like, I love that.
Well, before we get to that scene, they take out the droids. They go and they find the prisoner they need to find. And there's a human on board. It's supposed to be an all-droid ship so Mando can have a field day.
That's right. Well, and so the human is for whatever reason, like the warden or
He's a
an
red
administrative
shirt.
clerk. Yeah,
Yes,
he's a red shirt for damn
And
sure.
if you watch 90210, the reboot, he was Liam on that show. He was
I
also
don't.
He was also on Starcross. It was on CW, and he does mad voices in the Star Wars animated universe and video game universe too.
my
If you want to
God.
IMDb him.
So
Why can't you guys be up on your shit like Kelsey?
is there a website for Wikipedia Greer?
No, because that'd be too accessible.
Okay.
He is a gift.
Live Wi-Fi.
That's anyway. So
So they find the guy. The guy's like, please, I'll activate this beacon and my friends will be here and they're going to kill us.
we got the human guy there who's probably piloting the ship or just keeping watch or running a
Doing
checklist,
his
cleaning
job.
the bathroom, something like that, right? And you're generally not trying to be a bad guy, but there he is right in the middle of everything, right? He gets caught. The bad guys want to kill him. Mando doesn't want to kill him. And so then in classic style, and it just feels like we should be hearing Western style music going on right there. Right.
Fucking tumbleweed.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Ewok rolls by.
Or somebody ought to take a shot of whiskey and smash the glass down on the
I
bar.
did while watching it.
And,
Well, now we're in a pickle.
and one after the other, they all raise their pistols and blasters and flamethrowers and whatever at each other.
Who's gonna
and
shoot
they're-
first?
And they're locked in a Mexican standoff. Almost everybody is that. Is.
Almost everyone.
Except for Tonks.
Yes. Let's just keep calling her Tonks. I love it.
From Harry Potter.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah.
Nymphadora
All right.
Tonks.
Okay.
Oh, rest in peace.
And she's over there just like, she's kind of in the background being this kind of noisy chick, not doing much of anything until she just boom, flings the blade there and kills the human.
You boys in your dick measuring contest.
Basically, she's like, you can measure dicks later. Let's go.
Totally wrote her off until she goes, look, this is bullshit. Boom. And we're done.
And because she seems like the character with the only point of them having her is for the history with Mando.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, well, she's just there to remind him of who he was
And what he used to
until
do.
they get to where the prisoner is.
Yeah.
They open the door, and there's this dude who looks like he has more tumors in his head than fucking.
It's a tumor.
Yeah, that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He basically he looks like a perfect cell when he's like, but only in the head when he's starting to expand.
Oh, word. Gross.
Very
But it
gross.
works.
He is the brother of this Twi'lek Tonks. And they come out the door and they do some weird Lannister embrace where they're just like, brother, sister.
Yeah. And here, no, so here's the part where I gotta ask you all a question, and I think it's weird. Do you think that big fat man back on the battle station,
ZZ Flop.
ZZ Flop,
Okay.
right? Do you think that he planned to
Yes.
betray the Mandalorian?
Yes.
Yes.
And the reason I ask that is because at the end of this whole thing, when Mandalorian comes back and he's got prisoner guy, right? ZZ Top doesn't seem surprised at all. So actually, it kind of seems like he expected Mandalorian to whack the rest of that crew.
Well, I think that speaks to him being the kind of scumbag you see
Yeah.
in that outpost, where he can
Shady
keep that
figure.
kind of composure, not show his cards, but play the part until he can turn around and shoot you in the back.
I was going to offer that I think maybe ZZ Top guy was
Flop.
on the up and up.
I don't think so
least
at all. No.
Well, and I think that what it was is that the Kurgan and the comedian guy there,
Bill Burr.
yeah, they were just pissed off that the Mandalorian showed up, and so they decided to boot him into the prison.
No, because Tonks did it first. She's the one who kicked him in there and goes,
Okay.
you deserve this. And I think it was a group effort. And he even said, ZZ Flop said about Bill Burr at the beginning, anything he says is like, I'm saying it. Are you good with that? They set him up, and I don't think they set him up because he, betrayed the guild. I think they set him up because they knew he could be a fall guy.
Exactly.
Not because of anything else happening with Verditto. But hold on, we fucking jumped over the most important thing. They dropped my baby.
That they did. First, they discovered the baby.
They
And-
dropped Baby Yoda on the fucking floor.
It was the droid's fault, and it plays
Because the droids
right
have
into,
no emotions.
It plays right into why
Mando.
Mando doesn't trust droids, right? I mean, because he didn't.
Robots don't
I
have
mean,
souls.
even she was annoyed that the droid didn't give them
Yes.
enough like
I don't care
warning
who was
or
annoyed.
notice.
I don't care who was angry. All I'm saying is they dropped my son. And I am pissed.
Mijo.
Once he
Mijo,
fell,
Mijo,
once he
no.
fell and didn't cry but let out like a ah! I was like, Christy and I are watching, and Andy, my roommate's there with us, and he's laughing, and we're just like, no.
So to recap here,
I've never felt so connected with my girlfriend in my life.
there's some pretty bitchin' droid pilot skills going on, right? And the droid pilots the ship. to the prison ship.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Played by Richard Ayoade Moss from the IT Crowd.
And he was also in Neighborhood Watch.
Yes,
with
he
Ben
was.
Stiller.
He was the alien. And now
Yes.
he's a droid!
Exactly. And I also like the joke when Bill Burr saw Baby Yoda. It was like, oh, so did you two make this?
Yeah, that's right.
They alluded to the fact that Mando and Blue Chick might have been fucking.
Of course they
back in
were.
the day.
I mean, you know.
Of course,
On
though.
that note, and
Men and
feel-
women could be
feel
friends
free.
platonically without.
Yeah, but they
banging.
had a history like that. It was implied.
It was implied, but it doesn't mean it's factual. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Feel free to edit this out, but I just want to point out
That her tentacles look like penises.
no
Okay.
that
That's important.
you just claimed that you've never felt more connected to a woman
No,
woman, his
My
girlfriend.
to your girlfriend
Yes.
than when that baby was dropped, and this is a woman
Yeah.
that you have been inside of.
I'd like to take this moment real quick in the podcast to point out that if my girlfriend does decide to listen to this, she will agree with me that mutual hate for the droid that dropped our baby is far more intimate and life bonding than mere physical acts. Back to your regularly scheduled show.
I'm also pretty sure she likes to have her intimate, private sex life here broadcast on a podcast. On
It's
Instagram,
Patreon. It's Patreon. She won't hear it. She won't hear it unless she pays for it.
And for a mere $5 a month, you too can hear about her sex life.
And once again, I'd like to reiterate.
Why is everyone chiming in on this?
it's
Randy,
called-
do you want to chime in on my sex life too?
No, he does not. Like once again, I like to reiterate. They was worried about me going on and on about things. So I'm just letting y'all know right now. It ain't my fault.
So Mando gets kicked into the cell. They lock him in. It was a whole plan.
Yes.
And they go to take off with their prisoner. They've exchanged one guy for another.
They go to take off because they was offset.
Exactly.
Migos
Mando,
reference.
being beautifully skilled with his toys, gets a droid, brings him in, breaks off the arm,
That was
uses the
dope.
arm to escape.
That was dope.
Because he is not only the gunslinger, he is not only the protector of my son, he is
Liam Neeson.
MacGyver.
That's exactly.
Because
He
he can
is
be taken.
MacGyver. And it's fucking fantastic.
And in short order, he takes down just about everybody. And
Off screen.
and it's also assumed that he kills them all,
That's right.
which is pretty cool.
Well, the fact that, because they don't show him doing it, and so I'm like, oh, they're going to switch back. Is this another droid behind these people as a lighter flashing? And you see him just ba-bum,
Flashing in and out.
ba-bum. And it's beautiful. Eventually, it's realized that he locked them all on the planet. He takes the prisoner back. Who's like, Mando, please. She got what she had coming to her. Fuck all of them. Hey, putting down my gun. I'll double your pay. And we don't see what happens. We see Mando get back in the ship. Baby Verditto is there with him. And Verditto fought for his fucking life.
Yo, that moment when that fucking droid opened up the door, I was like, yo, I'm about to blast this little green bean. Then Verditto put his hand out. I'm like, oh,
And he
he's
closed
gonna
his
force
eyes.
that
Oh my
motherfucker.
god, I was so
We're getting a force
excited.
choke. We're getting a force
Yep.
choke.
But
And he-
no.
Part of the droid's head explodes, and we see just the cutest little thing where he looks at his hand like,
Oh, my shit don't work.
Son of a bitch.
yeah, I need to be careful with this.
Watch where I point this thing.
And then droid
I'm
falls
one with
over.
the force is with me. What the fuck is going on?
Droid falls over in classic Mandalorian style. We saw the shot, we heard the blast, or whatever it was, and the real person who killed them is left standing.
Mandalorian.
They take Tonks's brother, Gronk's.
Zen or something like that.
Yeah, Zim. They take Zim back to the
The purple
station.
people eater.
ZZ Flop is there, and he sees just Mando and Zim get off the plane.
Doesn't seem surprised.
There's a look where he goes like, huh, and then just kind of keeps his composure. Zim gets down. He's like, what happened to everybody else? He goes, no questions, right? Gets the money, takes off. What does ZZ Flop do?
So we missed an element in here. And in the Mexican standoff with the human that's driving the prison ship, like that, he has a remote control. His only option, his remote control is a beacon, and it's supposed to call in some kind of rebel alliance, I don't know, security or response force or something like that. That's terribly fearsome to everybody.
Yeah,
Apparently.
somebody was supposed to get these motherfuckers.
Yeah, and so one of the things that that Mando did, and when he was all killing folks, or we thought he was killing folks,
Right.
He picked up that remote. We didn't know what he did with it. Kind of forgot about it for a minute.
True.
And so went back to the battle station there. Dropped off the prisoner, and at this point is where we can understand that ZZ's flop there was going to try to kill the Mandalorian, because he calls up a fighter ship, realizing that Mando thinks he's going to get away with his payment.
Yeah.
The fighter ship is gonna come up there and engage Mando and probably blow him out of the water. Except they found out that one of the things he dropped in little Zahn's pocket there was the remote,
which is beautiful because when you see those X-wings come in and they're just like, well, it's not the prison, but this is where the tractor was coming from.
Oh, and here's the fighter coming out to engage us.
Let's fuck him up.
Poor fools.
And they go, are you ready to fuck him up, Red One? I've been ready since the day I was born, Red Leader.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they light him up as Mando leaves. And what does Mando do after him and his baby have had a day? He unscrews that little ball
little gear shifter there,
and just gives it back to his baby. But then he says, I told you that wasn't a good idea. So are these two communicating?
Of course they are. Well, as much as you can communicate with your pet dog.
Okay, so Mando's
Hold on.
obviously...
I need to stop you for a second. Did you just call Verditto a pet dog?
Christy, please understand that I respect you and everything that you're about here, but I think that Daniel's about to go off the rails here.
Yo, this is Daniel coming up straight, about to go off the rail. Baby Yoda, he ain't no fucking Baby Yoda. First off, he Verditto. Second off, he ain't no baby dog. He is my child. Third off, anyone who got some shit to say, they can take it up with my man, Kelsey.
And fourth of all, you could catch him outside. How about that?
These hands are on sale, 2 for 1. I like that most of us are addressing my girlfriend in this Patreon episode by grabbing the mic and pulling it close and being like, another thing you might want to know.
And I'm
Christy,
going to be...
help.
This is stated. I would never be pigeonholed by my alcohol consumption on some bitch again. No way, sirree, Bob. Fuck out of here.
So the episode ends.
I'm trying to be responsible, and that shit sucks.
The episode ends. We're left wondering what is coming next. And we only have 2 more episodes.
True that.
That's right.
Well, at this point, I think we know better than to trust almost anybody that comes into the...
Yes, sir, right now.
The Mandalorian's life?
Yes,
or, yeah.
the Mandalorian's life.
Totally.
I mean, or anybody new that comes in needs to be approached with caution, basically.
No.
But what the fact remains, 2 episodes left.
2 episodes left.
And there is a season 2, but we still have the Mandalorian, this badass warrior from across the universe, shackled with this Baby Yoda, Verditto, right?
Verditto.
Who is supposed to be the first mark, that first bounty that he brings in. So he's got everybody chasing him for it. We need to wrap this up in about 2 episodes.
But not the first mark he ever had.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there was.
He's had many before because he keeps coming back, and Carl Weathers goes, again? You want to go again? I've got all these. Pick them there.
But for this arc, though, we have to address what happens to Verditto in 2 episodes.
But do we have to? If it's going to be a continuation, it just could continue on.
I didn't say
because if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I didn't say you had to do away with him.
Okay,
you had to resolve whatever it is. So either we're going to be basically either done with this bounty and the client's going to be done, or we've decided now that the Mandalorian is actually Lone Wolf and Cub.
I think we knew that from the beginning, though.
But for seasons on end.
Well, okay. I think where we're headed for the end of this, I know I've made some wild predictions that I still stand by.
Okay.
Go ahead and make some more.
I think this season ends with the death of Werner Herzog, the end of the FOBs, or at least the end of what we can see of the FOBs. There may still be some others out there, or those who knew about it without having it. But I think it's going to end with him finding the original person who got him to do the job, having him call off the bounty. But there will still be whispers around saying, no, they're still out there. Go get them.
So it's going to end with Mandalorian and Verditto riding off into the sunset.
No, they will not ride off into the sunset. They will fight their way to the horizon.
Or I think it might end with them riding off, but then you have Agent May and Apollo Creed and somebody else that he encountered being like, we need to get them.
Yeah.
That's that. Like, there's gonna be a squad of bounty hunters
Who will be after them? Who have
Yes.
been wronged by
him, yes.
And that you know who that may include a prison break of Bill Burr, Tonks, and Mr. Krabs.
Because
Okay,
some of them
so-
did not die. Yeah.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but
Shoot.
the big deal, of why the child, which is what the official name of
Verditto.
Verditto
His name is
right?
Verditto, mi son.
Mijo.
Mijo.
Mijo, primo.
Verditto, mijo.
Verditto Iglesias, mijo.
Yes. Is that
Will you dance
he
for the one you love?
he has the Force.
And he can be
We
your
know-
hero, baby.
We know he can wield the Force, which is apparently something that 50 years in the making has been lost, or at least not seen by anybody in quite some time, right?
In this sector
So-
of the universe.
Sure.
Or
Exactly.
galaxy.
So, I mean, I feel like there's no real true without seeing this last Star Wars installment.
Right.
There's no guarantee that whatever happens in the end of this season of The Mandalorian doesn't directly tie into the Force or what it means when it's lost or when it's found.
Right.
Or whatever happens in this last installment of the series. I mean,
Balance.
Well, going back to, I guess, The Last Jedi, which I know we said in the last episode is very divisive, you see the kids, and you see that one kid who is Force sensitive, who at the very end, he gets his broom and he starts doing it, because the Force can exist anywhere. I think the fact that it exists in young Verditto is not because he is that race, but just because it exists in him.
Coincidentally.
Yes. I guess what I would like to see at the end of this series, or at the end of the Ballad of Verditto, whenever that ballad ends, I'd like to see him. I don't want to see him die, even though I think that's how it's going to go, or he's going to be sent back in time. But
Damn it.
but I'd like to see him disappear for a while because we've been told there will be more Star Wars movies, but no more Skywalker shit
Right.
after this one. And I'd like to see him show up, not necessarily as a main character, but just as someone who's alluded to. The same way that
I've been saying for the last couple of podcasts.
yes, and in this next one, J.J. Abrams has alluded to the fact that Ahsoka will make a guest appearance. And she'll just be a side character. She's not going to be there to help them as a MacGuffin. But even in one of these later movies, we see him show up. And you don't know it's him, but all you hear is like, oh, well, I was raised by a despot, or I was raised by a Mandalorian, or some kind of callback to the series that isn't necessarily impactful on the movie itself or the future of a franchise, but just to let us know our young baby went on to become a very strong man, and he's impactful in the universe.
But that brings in the question: how do they age? Because
Very
the last
slowly.
the Last Jedi don't take place far after this time period. So
Oh, I'm not saying in this next movie. I'm saying
It takes place
Years
20
later.
years later.
yeah, but he's 50 already, so he's gonna go from a baby. Like I'm saying, like if he goes from a baby and 50 to 20, then he's mature enough to speak. That's one thing, but we don't know that happens because that's what I've been saying too. Like if they do another trilogy, they could do a time skip when he's
okay.
Quote, quote, at that
Then how
age.
would you guys feel about this?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Rise of Skywalker ends. There's people being trained in the Force, neither as Sith or Jedi, but just to be trained in the Force. And among those younglings,
It's him. Yeah,
we see the young Tridactyl Verditto.
totally fine with that. And then they could
No.
do a time skip in the future and make it like
Nope.
50 more years in the future, and then have him at an age where he
Nope.
could be an intro part of the character.
I'm sorry. I think Tasheena has a point to make.
Nope.
Yeah, she does.
This is a point just
I
now.
think she. Yeah, that's.
We got to wrap this up, but I guess since you're saying nope, I want to hear your point first, and then we'll go around for some final questions.
I'm gonna call it right now. Mondo dies, and
Like the first season of the Walking Dead Telltale game?
yes,
Don't hurt me.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
hurt me like
Baby,
that.
Yeah.
don't hurt
Okay.
me.
And then the second season becomes all
No more.
like flashback, present day.
You're telling me Verditto becomes Clementine?
Yeah, sure.
And not Baby Judith.
I don't know where I am anymore. She's breaking me down on a level that I understand.
I just want to break it down.
I'm just saying, prepare yourselves for death. Whether or not it's a sweet, precious, innocent, lovely baby Verditto, or if it's Mando himself, I'm saying prepare yourselves for death.
She's whispering the same way when she talks about me and my girlfriend being intimate. This is
It's just about the same thing.
it's highly erotic, and I won't be able to stand for at least a minute and a half.
It's also mostly fictional.
Wowzers!
That does it for just today. That's the end of Ballad of Reyes.
Whammy!
Okay.
Zoinks.
Okay, so you think death is going to be in the cards?
I do.
I guess, final question, and, any plugs you have, where do you suppose we're going to be at the end of this season? Because we've only got the one episode left for us.
No, 2.
Oh, no,
Okay,
for us,
okay,
2 for
okay.
the show.
So
Okay.
we are definitely you absolutely 100% should prepare yourselves for a cliffhanger.
Yes.
I will rescind what I said before and say that Verditto is not going to die because Disney is making so much fucking money on making
And you know how,
Verditto merchandise.
and do you know how much
For
more
one,
money the fucking rat would make off of a martyr? It's a joke.
Nope. I don't.
No, but I feel like maybe they'll pull some kind of like Pulp Fiction Tarantino shit where it's like, wait, what timeline is this? And I feel like there's like the potential for us seeing the end of things is there, but there's enough like gray space in there for them to kind of like drag this whole storyline out, and it will, the timing of it all is perfect. They did this on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Between the TV show and the release of The Rise of Skywalker, right? They did this on purpose.
From what I'm hearing, I think we're getting the last episode before The Rise of Skywalker just by like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess I'm not convinced that they're not going to tie this all up in a neat little bow and leave us hanging until like sometime next year for the next season of Mandalorian. So I don't think that death is off the table. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be Baby Verditto.
Okay.
Because he is the reason why people continue to watch the show. Every other thing that happens is great and solid and well done and amazing, but
Question for you then, before we get to your plugs and before we get to the last bit, what about if he was the reason why all these people died? Let's say the village, right? Let's say someplace he's been, even if it's that village or just a group of random innocents, but they point out at the end that he's the reason they're killing these people unless he, the Mandalorian gives up the baby. They will keep killing people until he gives up the package.
I think that, that will be acceptable. What would you call that? Cannon fodder?
Acceptable loss.
Like a
Yeah.
Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I guess lastly, where can the people find you? And thank you so much for being here today.
Always online. I'm most easily contacted through either Escape Velocity Comics or the Escaping Podcast online, Instagram.
You do great work with our stuff, and really thank you.
Instagram, Facebook. You can email us, but
It's getting really NPR towards the end. There it is. Anything you'd like to plug?
no, otherwise, other than by the time this particular episode airs, I do believe, we've got the Star Wars movie party happening at our Cinema Point location. And if you have not witnessed my Jeopardy or my Plinko games
so fucking
that I
good.
hand make
It
myself,
is so fucking good.
I put a lot of hard work and effort into them, and it would be great if you just came out and showed your appreciation for the amount of hard work that I put into all of these events. That would mean a lot to me. But Otherwise,
we'll put that on the website as well. Thank you so much, Tasheena. TJ, same questions. Where do you think we're going to be at the end of this season? And any plugs, and where can the people find you?
All right, so I absolutely think there's a cliffhanger, but I think that one of the things we have to remember is, there are two things we need to remember. One, Disney doesn't like to keep young things young, a la Baby Groot.
Oh, yeah.
But the other thing we have to remember is that this is a old-time Western. And so virtually every episode we've gone through has been a reasonably typical old Western trope. So we had, as we already mentioned, the Seven Samurai or the
Magnificent
Like
Seven.
the Magnificent Seven episode, kind of episode where they take the village and they teach the village how to defend itself. One of the tropes we haven't seen is where the old gunslinger takes the kid and drops the kid off someplace where he can be taken care of. The other part of that is the Return of the Jedi trope, where I think the Mandalorian is going to get captured, and I think that he's going to be imprisoned, tortured, hard labor, something like that. Fast forward to season 2, and I think that it's going to be like Gina Carano is going to come back and probably hook up with Verditto, who now has a little bit more control over his force powers, and comes back to rescue the Mandalorian.
So same thing with you. I got a quick question. Season 2, he's hard labor. We see him without his helmet, or we know he's without his helmet. See maybe the back of his head. When they rescue him, she even hands it to him without looking.
And I think
it's not even him. It's Baby Yoda like forcing it on his head, and he sees him. And I'm crying right now.
I know.
I think it's going to be
because he's like, Mando, you are.
No, because he'll just talk normally.
Okay.
He'll be like, bitch.
I think we're seeing like some kind of forced labor, but he's going to have taken some, like, ripped his sleeve off and put a
some
Zorro
shit.
Yeah, kind of thing. That's where I see it.
Where can the people find you? What do you want to plug?
Well, you're going to need one of them tracking fobs to find me, because I'm not on social media. You can't find me unless you come here come to Escape Velocity on Wednesdays to find me with New Comic Book Day. But other than that, stop trying, please.
Okay. Kel, same to you.
Before TJ dropped that gem on me, I didn't even think about that possibility. I definitely like TJ's answer the best out of anybody's. But just me personally, before we had this conversation, I just could see it ending with Mando and little Verditto escaping some type of calamity. They barely escaped the situation due to Verditto using the Force again, since he haven't used it in several episodes. And like I said earlier, I could see a squad of former villains, adversaries uniting and be like, yo, this is what we need. We can't get this dude by ourselves, so let's come together. We split the bounty, and it ends off with that. So season 2 is just be about Verditto and Mando on the run, trying to stay alive. Then maybe it ends with Mando being captured and them getting the bounty, and then season 3 picks off with a time skip and all that jazz. But yeah, you can always find me Snapchat and Instagram, Kels for show, Facebook, Kelsey DeAndre Greer, and anything to plug right now? Nope. Just continue to support the Patreon, the podcast, and make sure you tell your friends, family, and everybody else that you know they should definitely listen, especially if they're geeks and nerds in their lives, to like on Instagram, Facebook, and comment, and we always appreciate it.
For me, like I said, I really would like it to end with either the death or the cancellation of the bounty from Werner Herzog, or both. God damn it! Not to say the same thing, but that would be great, TJ. What you said, that is really cool. But I also think Tasheena's onto something with death is on the table, and not only is it on the table, it's one of 2 items on the menu. The other one being water. And you gotta have a little water to wash down your death. I have no idea what's coming next. I'm excited for the end of this season because I know season 2 is just gonna expand on one of the most amazing adaptations of a Western I've seen in space. There's a lot of them. Space is the final frontier, and it's great to see that happen. We've seen many things on Star Trek where there's adaptations of certain Western tropes, but with this, it feels like something that I not only want to sink my teeth into, but can't wait to see how they expand it. You can find me on Facebook Instagram, Facebook, Daniel Rojas. Instagram, Blue Morpho, one word. The O's are zeros. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. If you're listening to this on Patreon, we assume you do. But tell your friends, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Escaping Podcast. And if you or anyone else you know would like to have your music featured, go ahead and send us an email at escaping.podcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot. Remember, folks, there can only be one chum bucket.
And if you get trapped in an Imperial prison, just realize this is the way and become an escaping and stay uncanny, y'all.